at the same time and possible to, I mean, I tell them not to, but they'll do it anyway.
It's your discipline.
You can change it in the at the toolbar at the top of the screen. You can change it so that it shows who is annotating the board. It'll put their name on what they're drawing or writing so that you can see who is responsible for it. And in that case, you can tell them like.
That's already something. So I can, okay. And another question, a different one is when I create different rooms to put people in pairs. Okay, first of all, I have a few students who never find the invitation. And then I have to wait for 60 seconds if I want to close the rooms and invite them again. Is there a way to just send them another invitation without closing the rooms?
That's a good question, actually. Let me open up the breakout rooms feature and see what it looks like now. Okay. Options. If you click on where it says breakout rooms and then set it up and you have the window where it shows the rooms that are there, you can click on the button that says options and change it to take out the countdown timer. Like you can take the countdown timer off completely and it just brings the students back to the room.
Oh, okay.
Also, if they're having trouble finding an invitation, there's in that same place there's an option that allows you to move students into the room automatically without an invitation. So
yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Where do I find that?
If you go, you probably can't see it in your interface right now, but if you go to breakout rooms and then you set up the breakout rooms, and there's a place where it shows you all of the rooms and all of the students in each room. Then there's a button that says options.
Options, okay.
And there you can see right now, I think the default setting is allow participant,
the default setting is to have it not clicked, that they go automatically in. But you can click it and it just brings them automatically without having to get them to approve it.
Okay, yeah, I'll try that. And another thing about the breakout rooms, is there a way somehow to check what's happening in the rooms without actually joining one at a time?
No, unfortunately not. You can broadcast a message to all of them with the breakout rooms tab. There's an option to do that when everybody's in their rooms, and it sends a chat. But you can't see into the rooms without going into the rooms.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Scott, you're up next.
Yeah, hello. I think I agree with Patrick in terms of the breakout rooms. I was looking to see how you can reduce the time in terms of the students returning to the main room or closing down the chat rooms. So that's useful to know. So you just go to options and unclick the option for 60 seconds.
Yeah, or you can change the amount of time. Like if you want to do 20 seconds or something.
Okay, so you can okay, so you can amend the time. Okay, great.
Set the timer with the breakout rooms to say close automatically after a certain period of time. Like if you want to give the students, tell them you have 5 minutes to do this activity together, you can set it to close automatically after 5 minutes.
Okay, so you can put time limits on the breakout room, right? Yeah. Okay. And you can broadcast a message also to the students to say 30 seconds to go or 1 minute to go, for example, when they're doing it. Okay. The next question I had was around, so using the share screen and using the interactive whiteboard. So ordinarily, of course, when you're doing face-to-face lessons, you would demonstrate a worksheet, for example, and you might want to outline or highlight a particular section, or if you're doing a vocabulary matching exercise, you might want to match from here to here. So when you're doing a share screen, could you possibly just give us a quick demonstration, guys, of how you highlight something and then draw a line between something, just as a recap, if that's okay?
100%. Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. So everybody can see the screen, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
And you won't be able to see this part, but as the host, I can move my mouse to the top of the screen and choose annotate, and then just draw on the screen. Like nice and neat like that.
Okay.
Or you can do a straight line as well.
Okay. Sorry, where's the annotate button again, Katie?
You won't be able to see it right now, but when you
Uh-huh.
click the host, you can put your mouse at the top of the screen when you're screen sharing, and the toolbar drops down. And the annotate button is like the third one from the right.
Ah, okay. So beside the screen sharing, red and green tabs.
It's actually when you put your mouse to the top of your screen when you're the host, the
Mhm.
toolbar will come down from that. So it comes down
Okay.
from the top, and then
Yep.
you've got mute, stop video, manage participants, new share, pause share, annotate, then
Okay.
remote control, and then more options.
Okay. So great. So while you're sharing the screen and you have a document or some kind of material there, you can then share screen and then annotate, and then you can draw, highlight to give examples.
Stuff, you can move stuff around that you've drawn on there. You can just delete one thing that you drew with the eraser, just goes away. You can put a spotlight on your mouse so that it's easier to see where your mouse is on a white background.
Great. Okay.
Okay. There are also stamps that are quite useful, like this arrow, if you want to draw attention to something.
Okay. I think sorry. My next question was more non-technical related. But if you have your student has an issue technically, so for example, last night in one of my lessons, one of the students couldn't get Zoom application to work on their PC, so they end up using their smartphone or their iPhone. And similarly to Patrick, they have an issue opening documents. So I let administration know, but whilst we are working from home, is there a contact or a mailbox that we should send an email to if there are IT related issues that students have? Or
not necessarily. You can let us know if it's a big problem. Like if, for example, if the student absolutely cannot join the room, you can let your administrator know.
Mhm.
Because the student will probably also know to contact the administrator. But if it's something like they can't share files with the iPhone, try something else, like send it to WhatsApp or email it to them, or some other way to get it to them if they absolutely have to have it. But like with the online lessons, far more than with our normal lessons, we need to have backup plans, because if something doesn't work, it could derail your whole lesson. So just make sure you have something extra to do. And the more you get to know the program, the more you'll know how to do those quick fixes when something goes wrong. And you'll be able to think more creatively about it because you know what it's capable of.
Okay, so in that case then, if you have any issues like that, or to get contact details of students, for example, then you just contact your administrator.
Yeah, and you can actually, you can have a conversation with your students, like, would you like to exchange phone numbers so that we can keep in touch with them on the lesson? That's totally fine.
Okay, okay. So it's probably more proactive just to ask your students for their email addresses, for example, and then have a group email, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I think that's the for me. I think my questions. Thank you.
Cool. Who else has a question? We have no more hands up. No more questions. Okay then.
There we go.
All right. We have a question from.
Hey everyone. Yeah, I have a question. I have teachers who have paid accounts, and there's still it is a bit of a technical issue that they're experiencing. They're still being kicked out of after 45 minutes, just the same as would happen in a free version.
Are they logged into their paid accounts?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Are they logged into it with the app and the internet?
Yeah, with the computer, the internet connection. Yeah. So.
No, I mean like like to start the meeting, you can go to zoom.us and put in your account there. But are they also logged into the corporate or the licensed account with the app?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll ask them about that as well. Yeah, just an issue that came up today.
Yeah,
It's quite a new issue.
if it's still doing that, I would contact Zoom to find out what's going on.
Okay. I do have a second question. It's related to classroom management, and I just wanted to find out what kind of techniques, what they're going to use with, because yeah, with adults and teenagers, it's a bit simpler, but we're going to try and work with young learners as well. When you have 10 young learners on the screen, it's kind of difficult, yeah. Yeah, there is a form of motivation and everything, and this classroom dojo, I think, something like that online.
Yeah.
You can use as well. I just wanted to get ideas from what you guys have. Yeah.
When you have your screen on with your class, do you have the gallery view on, or do you have the speaker view?
Gallery, yeah, and then you can change the speaker. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's better with a class that size to have it in gallery view first of all, so you can see what everybody's doing at the same time. Has anyone had any young learner classes so far with Zoom? No?
Not yet. No, we're going to 6th of April, I think.
Okay. Well, I have observed some experienced teachers using Zoom to teach young learners. I haven't used it with a young learner class myself, but I observed some. And as long as you keep the activities fast and interactive and kind of exciting, they're going to pay attention to you a lot more. So just like the same thing you would do in class, where you have like activities are short and you have lots of different activities to keep them occupied, the same thing is going to apply to online. So if you can have like a short video and then maybe even like a dance break or something, if you notice that you're losing attention, like put on some really fast music and tell them you have to dance until I stop the music, for example, just to give them a little bit of like a little way to get their energy out when they're sitting staring at the computer.
Okay, just hold their attention, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Because they already want to look at the screen. This is just the truth of the matter. You just have to make it different and interesting enough that they're going to want to continue to look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Well, in that case, if nobody has any other questions, I suppose we're done for today.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thanks.
And as always, if you do have anything else that comes up, then contact a member of the academic management team. We can help you, and also don't be afraid to like talk to colleagues and friends, and don't be afraid to experiment. The more experience you have just interacting with Zoom itself, like the more you'll find out what it does. I read something the other day from one of our IT people. They said like don't like if you just click on things to see what they do, it's not going to hurt anything.
Exactly. And remember that you do not have to reinvent the way that you teach to use Zoom. You do not have to use all the bells and whistles and all the crazy stuff to go with it. You can just teach your normal lesson, and that's enough. But if you want to use bells and whistles, there are lots of them to be had.
Mm-hmm.
So Scott, do you have another question?
Yeah, sorry, just one last thing. You mentioned about playing around with Zoom, for example. Can you give us advice on a good place to do that, or where to go? So you can bring up the screen, you can muck around with share screen examples?
Yes, you can go to zoom.us/test, and that will help you create a test meeting. I would also suggest that you get together with other teachers or with your friends and practice being the host. Once you start a meeting, you are the host, but you can actually you can designate someone else the host, so you can pass the hostship around to everybody in the room, so everybody gets a chance to see what it's like. If you put your mouse over the name of the participant, you can click Make Host under More, and it will allow them to see the screen and do the sort of things that the host can do. And then the person who was the original host has a button that says something like Reclaim Host or something like that. You know.
Okay, no, that's great. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, cool. So like we said, don't feel a lot of pressure to do your lessons completely differently than you normally do. I've taught my group class there for a week with Zoom. And I haven't done anything crazy with it at all. We just have a pretty normal class, and the students are really happy with it. They say that it feels just like we're in regular class. They like it a lot. And yeah, so don't feel the pressure. All right, cool.
Thank you.
So I hope you guys have a good weekend.
You too.
We'll try to keep you up to date with everything as and when we find out more information. And thank you everybody for doing your best to help out during this difficult time. All right, so see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.